Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. Okay, so let's talk about this Diane and Michael Baldwin scene. When it comes to soap operas, there's a certain level of disbelief that you need to have in order to enjoy these shows. Okay, I get that. I'm a very logical person, but I get that. But at some point, some of this stuff becomes very laughable. Michael Baldwin's supposed to be some sort of, like they wanted the best lawyers, the best of the best. I think personally think they should have probably hired Diane Millers from GH, but whatever. That's what she should have went with. Michael talks about this damning evidence, right? The damning evidence is a phone call from Phyllis and a letter, supposedly from Diane. I'm looking at this and I'm like, so let me get this straight. You telling me the thing that's going to send her to jail for life is super damning evidence is a phone call and a letter. I understand about the whole, she purchased the poison and stuff like that. And when Diane tells Michael, hey, listen, she has access to the house all the time. She could have went up there and took my credit card information and ordered this stuff or whatever. Like, she could have did that. Mike was like, well, I can't sit there and see her doing something like that. Why would she sit there and set you up for revenge? She's supposed to be your so-called best friend, right? You're telling me that you don't think that she would sit there and go through any sort of lengths to sit there and get back at somebody? You're supposed to be one of the in crowds that really know her. But you don't think it's possible that she can do something like that? Why? Because she has such a good track record as far as being in Genoa City as long as she has? This is the part where it just becomes stupid. Okay? For a lawyer to sit there and look at information like a letter and a phone call as super damning evidence, what does Victor pay you for? I'm very confused by that. And for his so-called, I'm still grieving and mourning the death of my best friend. And you're telling me that you don't think that she would go through those lengths? Just tells me that you didn't really know her. So to sit there and say she's your best friend, it's almost insulting. And I'm pretty sure if Lauren, if you was to sit there and ask Lauren the same question, she'd be like, oh, I just can't see her doing that. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let's get to the next part of this episode. And of course, is Adam and Victor. There's a point where Victor says, if you don't take this deal, what are you going to do? You know, I don't even know where to begin. But let's just put the blatant obvious out there. He's rich. I don't see this guy. It's not, he says that, well, I don't have a job right now. Oh my goodness, are you gonna have to sit there and go to the unemployment line? Are you gonna like what are you gonna sit there and do? I mean, you should be out there paving the streets and if they're trying to find a job. Oh wait, he's rich. So when that question came up as far as what is he gonna do? He's rich. He's going to just sit there and wake up whenever the hell he feels like it and decides to, go about his day, check on Chelsea, hang out with Connor, have these business meetings with Victor. This is something that DC said as far as, people don't really struggle on this show because everyone is practically rich. Everyone owns a company. You got fathers that are just buying companies for their sons to be like, there you go, you can run it now. And you have sons that they're saying, well, I have certain conditions. You have conditions. You have conditions. This man just literally bought you a company so you can sit there and run, and you're telling me you have conditions. So when you sit there and you talk about like the wants, the haves, and the have-nots, there's really not that many have-nots. I can't really think of one have-not. I can't even sit there and say it about Sharon because, well, Sharon and Nick are always going to be in each other's lives. It's not like, oh my goodness, what am I going to sit there and do to pay my bills? Oh, wait, I know Newman. Yeah. You see where this conversation is going, right? So that's when I'm sitting there looking at this scene between Adam. Like, there's one point where they're talking about Victor, talking about, Adam's daughter and how happy he is, and just like, listen, she's going to be a mover and shaker, an innovator, change the world, right? By the way, what the hell is it with Nikki Smith? They're talking about world domination. I wanted to sit there and talk about that real quick before I forgot, because I was like, this chick really just said world domination. I guess Victoria must be in Bison or something. I don't. Sometimes I have to sit there and make jokes out of this show because I can't process it any other way at times. I really can't. But going back to Victor and Adam being like, oh, let's see, this is some sort of leverage. Um, I think either to take the company or something. Hold on, I wrote that in my notes. 1 second. I was wondering about that line when he's sitting there saying, my question was, how is Victor buying the company leverage for Adam to take the job? I'm very confused by that. I mean, I was confused by a lot of things, but I was particularly confused by that. Um, I don't know. Then, he pretty much says he has conditions. He has only part of Newman Enterprises. Okay. It's like, I also don't want you, I don't want you running my stuff. Like, I don't want to be sitting there answering to you. And on one hand, I understand that because from what people have told me, that Victor and Adam has had this contentious relationship, where it's always like very manipulation and stuff like that. Like, he manipulates his kids, and it's just had this really terrible history with his dad. Very bad history. So I understand that to some extent. Like, I don't want you to sit there and be running it and you pretty much playing these games like Victoria. Like, Victoria comes into her office and Victor is just sitting in her chair. Victor is sitting in her chair as a symbol, a reminder. I put you in this company. I put you in this chair. And I guess in some ways, Adam has saw that all too much with Victoria. He's like, you're not going to be sitting there playing those games for me. Right? I get that. But I guess on another level, I also find it kind of funny where it's like your dad just bought you a company and you're sitting there saying one of the conditions is I don't want you to sit there and tell me what to do. You don't want the guy who literally just hands you a company. And I want you to tell me what to do. Like, it's just something that's just kind of off about that whole sentence. So it's very weird at best. But okay, sure. You got Chance and Sharon going on a date. Which I found that to be interesting in a lot of ways. More so because there's been so many rumors saying that the actor that plays Chance is going to leave. Dude is still here. So, unless they decide to just get another person to play Chance, I don't really see that as, like, I don't see that happening. Now, here's what I will say. And this just concerns rumors and channels. Be very, 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 very careful about the channels that you go on when it comes towards these rumors, because rumors spread like there's no tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure if that person put out a rumor, whatever one of my subscribers was watching, heard that, came on a live stream, was sitting there telling people, oh, this actor's leaving. Now, when it comes to soap operas and reviewers and content and stuff, a lot of times there's a lot of people that go to different people for soap opera news, reviews, and stuff like that. So it's very easy for them to go in somebody else's chat and say the same thing, and now this person's that they're spreading it like wildfire. So my point is to always be very careful about where you're getting your sources from. Um, I know Phoenix Tremaine is usually pretty good, so I'm like, maybe if you're getting it from him, you know, but always sit there and take anything with a grain of salt, because no matter what connections you may sit there and think somebody has, always keep something in mind. They don't, unless they literally work at the company and they are calling you on the phone and being like, hey, listen, this person's leaving, take it with a grain of salt. Because 9 times out of 10, the people that are giving these rumors, they don't work for the show. Okay? They don't work for the show. And it's very irritating. It's like when somebody sits there and says, oh, yeah, I think the show got canceled. It's like, you don't work for the show. You don't know that. Yeah, well, I heard it from some YouTuber. Okay, but great. They don't work for the show. So unless they actually put out a press statement, take the information with a grain of salt. Anyway, he had a date for a little bit, and then he had to leave to, I don't know, get more evidence. He got a call from somebody, so he had to sit there and dip out. And, they were sitting there at the dinner, he was sitting there talking about smaller portions and smaller plates. I'm like, who the hell actually goes to it? And literally, he's like, oh, well, the dining is closed, so you had to sit there and go into this other place. So it was like, yeah, but it's smaller portions and smaller plates. I'm like, who the hell actually is going to sit there? And then afterwards, Sharon decided to stay. Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to sit there and just hang out for a little bit. So you're gonna continue to pay for smaller portions. Are they charging you less money? I had so many questions. I know it's very petty, but it's not very petty, but it's just like, what? Oh, but the company was, oh, that's great. Oh, that's good. I mean, I like wasted a bunch of money, but I had good conversation, so I guess it evens out. Summer, 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 summer. Summer is literally the thorn in my side, the pain in my ass, whatever you want to sit there and call it. This is who Summer is. Summer and Kyle arguing, and it is just annoying. It's really annoying. And, you know, Kai wants to sit there because at some point, Summer's like, she's about to head out. She wants to go on an errand. And Kyle's like, wait, let me go with you. And she gets upset. And I'm like, bro, you need to sit there and let this chick have her space. There's one point when she says something that's really stupid, talking about, I grieve in a very different way, like my mother or whatever. She says something like she was trying to compare herself to her mother. And she was like, well, I know it's very weird and it's very unorthodox, but, I'm just like my mother. I was like, since when? Since when? And I mean, granted, you're not exactly doing yourself any favors by comparing yourself to your mother, but um, they're arguing, and Jack comes in there, and Jack is like, Jeremy's dead. She heads out, and she talks to Daniel. Like, it's like she was waiting there for something, almost like she got some sort of text. So I didn't really understand that. Anyway, Daniel got there, and there's one point where Summer says that she wished that people just stuff down their emotions because it would be better for some odd reason. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, I literally, she said that when she said that, I was like, that's the exact opposite of dealing with your emotions. I was like, that's extremely unhealthy. I will give her 1 point. I will give her 1 point. Even though I don't like this woman, I will give her 1 point. Get 1 point today. It's very true. People do deal with grief in different ways. Some people are talkers. Some people like to sit there and distract themselves from work. Everyone has a process of how they deal with grief. And I feel like you have to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to sit there and say there's no right or wrong way of how to grieve because there's clearly a wrong way of how to grieve. But at the very least, you have to sit there and respect. As long as they're not harming themselves, they're not like they're not harming other people. You have to respect how this person grieves, even if you don't agree with it, even if you want them to sit there and do something different. As long as they're not hurting themselves or other people, you know, people do grieve differently, and you have to sit there and respect that. And that is the only point that I will give this chick today. But what the hell has happened? Oh yeah, she starts complaining that people are treating her like a child. And I'm like, wasn't stop acting like one. You know, stop doing this in a stupid little pouty face. Stop doing that. Stop acting like a damn child, and people will stop treating you like one. Anyway, Daniel leaves, and Summer comes in there. So that happened. I mean, granted, yeah, if you saw the previews or whatever, you would know that she came back. Which I gotta sit there and say they did a really terrible job with the previews. They really did. They truly did. It's like they just did not care. First, they show you the previews already tells you that it's gonna be a girl. They already off the bat tell you that it's gonna be a girl. So there was no mystery right there. And even Phyllis showing up, it was just like, man, it would have been nice to actually have a good surprise. Nope, they just showed you that too. So, really seemed like they didn't give a damn when it came towards the previews because they just did not care at all. Um, Monique was definitely right about that because she was not there in a live stream. She was like, anyone else felt like super spoiled, like they really screwed up the previews, and I was like, I'm so glad that she brought that up. Uh, yeah. So I talked about the Victor and Victoria, pretty much her just kind of shitting on his deal with buying McCall. Um, buying McCall, and well, because Victor's like, listen, you're gonna have some good competition, and Victoria's like, yeah, whatever, given his track record, I'm not too concerned, and just really just dumping on Adam like usual. Um, so Victor leaves, and Nikki's like, "Are you upset that you didn't get to sit there and buy McCall?" And I'm sitting there looking. I was like, "Why was somebody like? Will you stop and think about this?" Because I normally don't give a damn about the business aspect of this stuff, but the company wasn't really doing that great. Okay, it wasn't. It wasn't on its way. It wasn't doing that great. I actually tell you the truth. The way they talked about it, it made it seem like that company was in some. It was not in good shape. Um, so it's like, why would somebody want to buy a failing company? I don't understand that. It's like, oh well, there's some good divisions that are really hitting the mark. There's some good conditions. There's some good divisions that are hitting the mark. How are you selling this to anyone? Honestly, tell you the truth, I don't understand how he was going to sell the company to his son. Why would you give somebody it's like giving somebody a broken PlayStation. No, it works sometimes. I mean, sometimes the disk drive works, sometimes it doesn't. What? I cannot be the only person sitting there looking at that and being like, how in the world does that make sense? Um, but Nikki's like, oh, I think you should go on vacation, and Nate comes in there, and Nikki's like, so what do you think? Do you think that she doesn't know how to relax? And of course, Nate pretty much kind of kisses her ass and is like, oh, she's this, she's that, yada, yada, yada. And Nick is like, yeah, well, you're not help. So he leaves. And Victoria's like, why don't you come on a business trip with me? Nate's like, I don't know if that's such a good idea. And long as it was short, Victoria's like, listen, you said it was a mistake. You're a grown man. You can keep it in your pants. So this is just business. Let's go on a trip. It's like, all right, fine. Now you talk about LA. I don't think that they're gonna do anything in LA. It'd be nice if they do, but for reasons that are just I'm not comprehending, they don't do. I know about the budget and everything like that. But I feel like, I mean, Y&R isn't super great and B&B isn't super great either. And I feel like it would only benefit both of the shows if they did more crossovers. I mean, they talked about this crazy crossover, last year, and it was just Nikki coming to Deacon's to get information from Diane, and Deacon's not there, flirting with Nikki, and that was just weird, and like this woman is like close to 70 something years old. I mean, Deacon, no offense, and no offense to Nikki or anyone that likes Nikki, but I'm like, bro, you can do better. you can you can do better. Just anyway, I just feel like they would benefit more if they did a little bit more crossovers. And even last year, it seemed like the crossover was so lackluster. They talked about like there was no tomorrow, and it was like this is your big event. This is your, of course, if they look at it, it's like, yes, why not? What do I expect? Um, I feel like that's about it. Also, Jack was not there. He found out about Jeremy Stark's death, and you know, Chance was like, this doesn't really change anything as far as the evidence is concerned. But I'm like, does it? I mean, the evidence that they here's the thing: the evidence that they have is flimsy as f. This is what I'm not gonna lie. This is what makes this story laughable in so many other ways. Jack did everything. He pulled out all the stuff to get the best of the best, right? Michael Baldwin, you know, Michael Baldwin, the legend, bro. A public defender would have been able to do the exact same job that you are spending billions of dollars on this guy, because the evidence is flimsy at best. You got credit card receipts showing that Diane purchased the poison. Did you see her actually go into the store and buy the poison? No, you just have a credit card. Anyone could have hacked her credit card and bought that stuff online. That doesn't prove anything. Yeah, I got into an argument and you shouted threats. Ooh, this chick could have hired me at this point. I just Christina acting like she has such a slam dunk case. It's like, oh, and then let's not forget about the damning evidence. What do we have? Oh, we have a letter. Oh, we have a letter. Did you compare hand signatures? Did you find any experts to sit there and match it to Diane's handwriting? No. What else you got? You have a phone call. You have a voicemail. Oh my God, you have a voicemail. Ooh, I know that I'm sitting there overacting at this point, but let's be honest, it's not really that much of a stretch from what they have. Yeah, I'm being very hammy, but so is the evidence. This is another reason why I miss doing these reviews. Jesus Christ, we have 24 minutes. This is the reason why I miss doing these reviews, because this show has moments where it can be good, but it also has moments where it can be just downright entertaining and laughable. I will say, I don't know if I can actually compare these two. One, because I don't think most people that watch this will get the reference. Maybe I compare the CW Arrowverse shows like Flash and Supergirl and Legends and whatever to this show. This show is entertaining at times. not exactly good. It has its moments, but it's not exactly good. You get to this story right here, it's entertaining because I can sit there and poke and laugh and make fun out of it, but it's not good. And that's saying something. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I might have left out a couple of things. I can't really think of it for the life of me of what I left out. Like I always sit there and say, you guessed it. If I didn't miss anything, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Well, I'll be sitting there talking about Y&R, Days, B&B, and GH. All four of the shows, and then some, as I do all the time, Monday through Friday. 5 days a week. Saturdays and Sundays for members. If you're not a member, there's a join button in the description box below. Hit that join button because we definitely get into some conversations. And it's just if you been to my live streams normally, it's just a different energy. Because we're having conversations that do tend to go left in the most fun way possible. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.